Zoom and boom, every pony. It is episode number 13 of According to Spiky Dash. Sure it is. It is 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Monday, January 15th, and we are live. Welcome, guys. First ATSD of 2018, and there is a lot to discuss on the show tonight. A lot of topics for me to discuss. Yeah, this has been, of course, a long time coming. Usually we try, when I first started this show last year, this series after going to Winnie City PonyCon last year, I was thinking maybe I could do this series, every couple weeks. And lately, with the fact that I had to do stock report, and now I'm doing Tracking the Madness every 2 weeks, I really only kind of usually done this show once a month, usually, especially with the show currently in hiatus right now until season 8 airs. It's I'm only gonna be able to do this once a month, but still a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss in the show tonight. What am I going to talk about tonight? Let's get to that. I will share some brief thoughts on kind of the big story that's kind of rocked the MLP world. If you guys, notice things going on in the fandom, you may know what that's about. So I will share that information and just share my general thoughts on it. I'll recap what happened for me on Christmas last year, share my Christmas with you guys, just a little bit of thoughts on that. Talk about so far about the wild NFL playoffs that have gone on thus far. It's been a pretty wild and wacky playoffs thus far. I'll share my thoughts on all the games, how I've done in my picks so far on that. Some brief thoughts on net neutrality, how I feel about that, what's going to happen going forward with that going on. Another big story that could affect YouTube, how the internet works, that kind of thing. I will also share speaking of recaps from 2017, I will also share my thoughts on video gaming. Of course, me working in retail and being a big gamer myself, I'll share my thoughts on my opinion on the top 10, my top 10 list I make every year of the best, worst, and most disappointing games of 2017. So I'll share my thoughts on that as well. Sharing my thoughts about a couple things, start off 2018, a couple rough things going on in my life personally. Kind of get more personal toward the end of this video. Some rough things going on, just some updates on those with that. And then finally, at the end of the video, I'm just going to have some shout outs at the end of the episode. Just some people that are really inspiring me for this video series, to just the fandom in general. I know last year I did the crazy thing where I tried to chug the gallon of apple cider to be committed to the fandom. But lately I've seen, I found a lot more fellow, YouTubers, MLP reviewers, all that good stuff, and I've subscribed to their channels. I just want to give them a shout out, let them know, hey, I like what you guys are doing. I'm inspired by your work, and I want to try to be better myself with my show as well. So I just want to give them shout outs at the end of this episode. So that is what's on the agenda. Yes, I worked hard today, even leading up to the show. I made there was just so much to talk about. I did a complete outline. I don't do these very often, but I felt like I had to today because there's just so much good stuff to talk about, so much good stuff. So let's go ahead and dive right in. And we have to lead because this is mainly a pony-centric show. It's not fully, but it's mainly. So we always start with the big things going on in the MLP world. Besides the fact that the movie is now out on Blu-ray and DVD, by the way, I did get my copy. I haven't rewatched it yet, but I did get my Blu-ray. I got the Blu-ray copy plus the DVD on release day with the exclusive water bottle. Very cool, by the way. You get the Blu-ray for the the special features, the bonus features, all that cool stuff. And of course, my PS4 plays Blu-rays, so I figured I'd get that for the special feature. I'm sure I will rewatch it at some point. But it was just so good when I watched it in theater. And of course, I did the full recap of that. If you want to, again, now that the Blu-ray DVD is out, and really, I know a lot of sites now kind of taking the spoiler block off on sharing their thoughts on the movie. If you want my full recap of the movie, my personal opinion, my personal thoughts on the movie, watch According to Spiky Dash episode 10. Episode 10 was pony only, with the movie recap included. So if you've already seen it, now that the movie is out on Blu-ray DVD, if you want to see my full thoughts on that, go to my channel, go to the videos tab, and check out episode 10, because that was my full recap of the movie itself. So, but aside from that, of course, that should be the big pony news, is that the movie is now out on Blu-ray and DVD, which is awesome. And I hope that Hasbro and DHX and everyone associated with that, Allspark Pictures, makes a lot of money back from that, considering how well the movie did in theater. I hope they make a lot back from that. The story, though, that has rocked the fandom, really, though, unfortunately, is that, there's been a major, again, this has happened to us. It happened with the movie as well, when someone leaked the movie early and people were just ticked off about that. Well, apparently this same person has unfortunately leaked information about season 8, showed screenshots from unfinished episodes, and even potentially showed stuff from the future of the series, even further on after season 8. It is no secret that this ticks me off. I mean, I was, when I heard about this, I was totally honked off. What benefit is that to anybody? I mean, seriously, let's be real. I mean, that just completely, utterly, it ticked me off. Nobody wins in that situation. I've mentioned things that tick me off where nobody wins. You've heard me on this. It's just, and it hurts. It hurts the people who make the show. It hurts Hasbro. It hurts DHX. It probably hurts Discovery Family in a way. It hurts the creators of the show. It hurts the writers. It hurts the production staff. It hurts everybody when people try to, either we don't know what their motives are. We don't know what this dick, because this person's a dick, this dick's motives are for doing this, for releasing this early. Maybe it's clearly, I don't think it'd be a person in the fandom. I don't think it is. Clearly, it's someone that's against what everything good this fandom stands for. And so I don't think, we can guess all we want, but unless we hear it directly from them, we don't know what their motive is. But clearly, it's to ruin us. It's to ruin the fandom and try to get something out of this. So when I saw that, I immediately said to myself, you know what, I'm someone who values the experience of seeing it for the first time, like everybody else. I hate spoilers. I hate them. I cannot stand. I try as much as possible not to be, not to read up on like future episodes, because I don't want to be spoiled. I don't want to really know about them before they air. And it's tough, because in this day and age of social media, so much gets thrown out there on social media, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and even Equestria Daily and what have you, and all the sites. It's hard to kind of prevent your eyes and ears or what have you from seeing stuff like that on social media. So it's hard sometimes for me to block out that information, because it's freaking everywhere. So it's just really hard to block out all that. So because I relish seeing something for the first time. I really appreciate, seeing that experience firsthand. So, and you know what? And when I heard about it, I was thinking honestly about going off and doing an angry rant, like an epic angry rant video. Like I was going to put angry rant, ponies leaked, how dare you, something to that effect. I was just going to go off, but then I had a rethinking moment, and then I thought to myself, you know what? If I did that, that would really only give the leaker what he wanted, and that's attention. It makes me think of that one song, you just want attention. Well, I think that's what this guy wants. So I don't know. It was just so instead, I did a series of tweets on Twitter. I just took a stance, and I said, I'm not going to watch any leaks. I'm not going to see any of it. I'm not even think about it. I'm just going to focus on waiting until season 8 airs. And I love the convention chair of Winnie City, the con that I attend, Charlie Worthley, changed his hashtag. He changed his Twitter handle to Charlie Worthley is going to hashtag wait until SA airs. I love that. And the hashtag I put out there is hashtag stand with MLP, hashtag stand with Hasbro, hashtag stand with DHX. I was going to tell the show that I stand with you guys. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to see these leaks. And I even put out there, and again, I mentioned here, this is the same guy who leaked the MLP movie. This guy needs to be caught. This guy, there needs to be justice. I don't know if they've caught the guy yet. If not, he needs to be, or she. But I think we assume it's a he. But whoever it is, this person needs to be caught. This is just it's wrong. It's illegal. It's stupid. It is what it is. But I am stating, and I stated this on Twitter too, but I am stating here for the record, if anyone posts any leaks, any spoilers, any information on Season 8 or beyond on my Twitter feed, if I follow you and on Twitter and you post any of that stuff on my feed, you will be either A, unfollowed, B, blocked, or C, both. And unfortunately, I've had to do that already to 3 individuals. And I hate being that guy. I hate being the bad guy, on social media. I hate being that person that has to do that. But I made a clear warning. I put it out there and said, look, if you do this, if you post stuff on your feeds and I follow you, I have to block you. I don't want to see any of it. I don't want to see any of it. I don't want to hear about any of it. I don't want to read about any of it. I don't want to be spoiled. And unfortunately, and I had to do it. And I had to block 2 people and 2 sources on Twitter that for a long time I found to be really respectable, and I liked their work. The Brony Network, I had to block them because they were posting information on it. And another one I had to block, and I hated, and again, I hated doing this, but he's posting nothing but videos and leaks about Season 8 and beyond is voluminous. And I hate that because I respected his videos, I respected his work, and all he's doing lately is posting on this stuff. Stop! It's not helping anybody. It's wrong. All you're doing is you're making the leaker look better, and it's just, and so I had to block him because I don't want to read or see about this. It ticks me off. It honks me off. It's all he's doing, and I had mad respect for the work that he did, for his videos, for the because he was doing parodies of the guy that Cinema Sins. He was doing like everything is wrong with these episodes. He was doing parodies of that. I love those videos. I think they're funny. They're hilarious. But then you start posting this crap about these leaks, and no, I don't want to see that. So unfortunately, I had to block him. So again, I hate being that guy, but don't do it. You've been warned. You've been warned. I've warned you on Twitter. I'm warned now here on YouTube. Don't do it. Don't give the leaker more attention. Don't feed his habit. Don't make him look good. Don't do that. It only hurts. It hurts Hasbro. It hurts DHX. It hurts all who are involved with the show. Don't be these people. Don't be, and thankfully those are the only 3 I've had to block. Thankfully that was it. It happened just so quickly after that information got released out, but maybe that got the message that, hey, he's, Spiky Dash is serious. You don't want to mess with, you don't want to, don't put any leaks on his Twitter. So yeah, so don't be them. Just don't do it. Don't help the leaker out. So that's all I got to say. That's all I'm saying about that. I'm going to wait till Season 8. I'm going to wait till everybody else. I don't want to see leaks. I don't want to see spoilers. Don't want to do it. Plain simple. Plain simple. All right. Topic number 2. Christmas 2017. Actually, this year I had a really good Christmas. I mean, usually I can't complain about Christmas. Normally, Christmases for me really am not disappointed. There have been some memorable ones over the years. Aside from our family tradition, which I'll also tell you guys about. Aside from that, but there have been some memorable ones. I know a couple of years ago, or no, was that a Christmas, or was that? I know a couple Christmas ago, my mom got me Pacer tickets, and that was a cool experience. Go to a Pacer game. Was that Christmas or was that my mom's birthday? I got my mom Jimmy Buffett tickets one year in Chicago. I don't know if it was at Christmas or I think it was her birthday. I think it was her birthday. But still, there have been some memorable Christmases in my life, and there have been again some cool things. But as I get older, as my mom gets older, they say the older you get, the harder it is to shop for people, and that is somewhat true. But actually, this year it was pretty easy to shop for my friends and my family because I think I know them well enough. I know their interests. I know what they're kind of into. Now, my mom, I will say, is the hardest to shop for. My mom is actually the hardest because, being on my own now, being independent for so long, I don't get to spend, time with mom that often. We talk every once in a while, and if anything's going wrong with me, we chat and talk to each other. But I don't get to spend as much time being, on my own, a 40-hour job, that kind of thing. I don't get to see her or very often. So, but it's nice that we get to spend that day together, because it's the only day Walmart's closes, so I don't have to work. And it's, so it's nice. It's a nice thing, to have that together. So, but this year is actually really easy. Because I knew who I was buying for. I knew what was going on. So it was really easy. This year, though, my mom, though, hardest to shop for. I honestly did not know what my mom wanted for Christmas. I was trying to, send her boyfriend like, hey, I need a hint. And at first we had an idea that we were going to go in together on a new coat that she needed because her old one got kind of ruined. But then that fell through because the cleaning people did a really good job on it. So I had to reevaluate. So, but that's when you turn to your friend the internet. That's when I Googled like the top 25 gifts for moms this year, something to that effect. And it turned back to technology, and it kind of turned back to what I sell in electronics at Walmart. And so I decided to give mom a Google Home. And Google Homes are just, to me, they're a very cool little piece of technology, because you have the Google app on an Android on your phone, so you can do cool stuff with Google, with the Google app. I want to try something with Google. I want to try this. I don't know if what kind of answer I will get, but I'm going to try something here with Google. Let me first turn up my sound just briefly here for a minute. I'm going to try something with Google here. Okay, Google, who is best pony? And Derpy comes up. Isn't that awesome? That's great. I love that. Wow, I did not know Google actually had an answer to that. But you can do so many neat things with Google. Oh, okay. Or who won Viking Saints last night?
Minnesota Vikings beat New Orleans Saints 29-24.
There you go. So see, and that's what happened. That's right. That's exactly right. So you can do so many cool things with the Google app. But the Google Home is basically like a portable Google app or Google thing you have in your home. It's a little speaker, like a little speaker. And you do the same thing. You can talk to it. You can link it with your phone. You have to play music off of like Spotify or iHeartRadio, NPR, whatever. There's so many cool things that it can do. So my mom very much liked the present I got her. Very much. It took her a while to set up, but eventually she got it working, and it says it's very cool. So I was very, very happy that my mom liked her present. For my friends, you guys know my best friend Nate. He's been on the Soccer Report before with me. Has his own channel. He does different. We get wins PonyCon together. You guys see Nate all the time on my channel. I got him and his wife Sarah actually the pirate figures from the MLP movie of some of the ponies. Now Nate's favorite is Applejack, and Sarah's favorite is Twilight Sparkle. So I actually got them the pirate figures of both those ponies from the movie. So I thought, this will be right up their alley. This will be easy. It's perfect. And apparently they had similar thoughts not totally similar. They didn't go the pirate route, but here is what they got me. They got me these pop figures. These are just so cool. These are so cool and so cute. So this is the pop of Rainbow Dash. This is very cool. I was so thrilled when they got me this. I love the detail on these. This is so cool. So now this sits nicely on my desk, right next to my vinyl Spitfire. My Rainbow sits right here on my desk. So Captain Spitfire is always watching over Rainbow Crash, always watching over the newest member. So yeah, that was awesome. That was sweet. I loved it. And my mom also got me. She got me a lot of clothes. I needed a lot of new shirts, new pants. I needed that stuff. That was cool. But the two coolest presents my mom got me, and I want to show you guys one. The two coolest presents. The first one she got me, I really can't show because it's very heavy, but it's a big glass, kind of mirror like thing, and it has a Colts pennant in it, and it has trading cards of some of the best Colts players ever. If this was like a 90s to now Colts Hall of Fame, these players would probably be in it. I'm talking like Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Ken Dilger, Marcus Pollard. When the Colts were actually good, when they actually were legit, and in the 90s and the early 2000s, and yeah, and they were so good, and so that was cool. So mom got me that, but I wanted to show you guys real quick. Hang on a minute. I want to show you guys the other thing. Mom got me. This thing is so freaking awesome. I want to show you guys. This is an autographed basketball. It's an autographed Pacers basketball signed by Corey Joseph. This was super cool. I was very, and I love the fact that it's got the wood design. I love this. But yeah, it's autographed by Corey Joseph. And for those of you who think, oh, is that fake? No. This comes with a certificate of authenticity, and I will show you that. But yeah, Pacers basketball, Corey Joseph. The Pacers are doing excellent this year. Got a big win over the Cavaliers a couple nights ago. Huge. So what can I say? I'm impressed by the Pacers this year. Do I dare say that maybe I was wrong? Yeah, and I'll admit when I'm wrong. I mean, I didn't think the team's going to be very good this year. The fact that I thought they were going to struggle the next 5 years, but they may prove me wrong. They may prove me wrong yet. So I love this. So I will show you guys. This is, there you see, certified authentic, certificate of authenticity from the Pacers. This is so cool. It's one of the coolest things I have ever gotten. So that was one of the highlights of Christmas for me. So yeah, but aside from the gifts, which was awesome, of course, always is. Excuse me. There's also our family tradition of going to the casino on Christmas Day, and we went this year. We were thinking about going to Four Winds in Michigan, or even down to Anderson Hoosier Park. And actually, those I tend to have better luck at those casinos because they're a little bit looser when it comes to their games. But we went to Blue Chip this year instead, up in Michigan City, and I started out with mom gave me $150 to spend. And it's funny because when I go to Blue Chip, it always seems like before lunch I play okay, not great or anything, but okay. I don't lose it all right away, and then after that I tend to struggle. So this year, before lunch, I still had $100 left. When we went to lunch, we went to eat the buffet. I still had $100 left. So I only lost $50. I was doing okay. I wasn't going too crazy. I was hitting some and losing some. Going from machine to machine. Nothing was really hitting like crazy, except I think for one machine. I was doing well on one machine. I'm trying to remember what it was. I kept going back to it. It was the one with the the free games, the double diamond, triple double diamond. It had like the diamonds, where it had the 3 rings, and it had like the free spins or the free games, and I was hitting diamonds and bonus pays, and I was hitting all that stuff, and that was great. I was really doing well on that machine for a while, but then that one started to cool down, so I had to start trying other machines after lunch, and then I got down for a bit, but then I got right back up again with some nice hits. I had an $11 hit on one machine, I think called Wild Thing, and then I had a $15 hit on something called one of my favorite machines, Triple Slingo Jackpot. I love playing that machine. I think I mentioned it last year too. I love those machines. You don't lose your money as quick. You can make your money last a little bit. So at the end of the day, I didn't lose everything. I came back with still about $65. So for me, for blue chip, that's a decent day. Do I wish I could hit it big? Absolutely, but I know with them they're going to be a little more tighter. So yeah, but thankfully another year where I didn't lose it all, and last year I didn't lose it all either. So I've been learning to play better. I know, I'm getting better at knowing when to step away from a machine and move on. I think I'm getting better at that. Either after a really big hit, or there's a slump of like I'm not getting free spins, I'm not hitting anything. Once that happens, it's time to move on. So as long as you know how to manage, how you spend the money and manage each machine, then yeah, you can be very successful. So that was Christmas, and it was pretty much a success. It was a really good year this year. All right, let's talk about these wild and wacky NFL playoffs. Oh my gosh, you guys. This NFL playoff so far has been wild. And I said beforehand that the NFC was going to be a lot more unpredictable than the NFC. And unfortunately, that hasn't been the case. Unfortunately, it's mainly, aside from the Atlanta win over the Rams in the first round, the NFC's been chalk. The higher seeds have won each game, which surprised me. But at least we've gotten good games out of in the NFC. The only blowout, really, if you call blowout, was Atlanta beating the Rams. And in the AFC, we've had some ugly games. We've had to think about it. We've had 2 ugly games. We've had a comeback game, and then we've had a near comeback game with Jacksonville and Pittsburgh. So. But again, when you look at the AFC, it's down to the 1 seed and then the 3 seed beating the 2. So really, it hasn't been like full-blown shocking. But at the same time, we've gotten some at least decent games out of this playoffs. It's been crazy. And actually, I've picked the games very well so far this postseason. I've been 3-1 for each round of the postseason so far. In the wild card round, the only one I missed was Kansas City, and I was so disappointed. I'm thinking, Kansas City, how can you blow a 21-3 first-half lead on your home field against Tennessee, a team that backed into the playoffs, a team with a one-dimensional offense? It's a running offense with Derrick Henry, or usually DeMarco Murray when he's healthy, and Mariota's running ability. They're not really a passing team. They don't have a true number 1 weapon, and you're letting them come back on you. I was just absolutely floored by that. But I got all the other picks right in the wild card round. I got Jacksonville beating Buffalo. I had Atlanta beating the Rams because I was worried that the Rams taking that week off before resting their starters, that would hurt them, and it did. And then I had New Orleans beating Carolina, but I figured that game would be close, and it was a 5-point game. And then this past weekend, in the divisional weekend, I had Jacksonville beating Pittsburgh because Jacksonville we'd seen had done it before. Granted, that was a 30-9 beatdown, but they've been throwing 5 picks. But I knew that Jacksonville had the blueprint to beat Pittsburgh, and that was just a crazy game. Of course, I had New England beating Tennessee. I mean, not what I prefer, but let's be real. It's New England. We know they're going to get far. And then I did have Minnesota beating New Orleans, but not with the crazy finish that we had, and I'll talk about that. The only one I missed here was Atlanta. I had Atlanta beating Philadelphia, and only because that Philadelphia is going to be underdogs throughout the rest of this postseason because no Carson Wentz. Nick Foles is their guy now, quarterback, but no Carson Wentz. This offense clearly looks like a shell of its former self without Carson Wentz. Philly's going to need defense to win games going forward, and they're going to be underdogs throughout this postseason. They've got to kind of embrace that role. They're really, to me, probably one of the worst number 1 seeds I've ever seen. And I said on the stock report, I'm sorry, Philly, that I underestimated you and all that, for the team. But that was when you had Carson Wentz healthy. Now you don't, and it's like, nah, you're a completely different team. So just to recap each game, like I said, Kansas City, I don't know how you blow that lead 21-3 at home against this one-dimensional Tennessee team. There's no elite receivers there. They don't have a solid number one option, and they haven't in years, probably since Kevin Dyson in Tennessee. Corey Davis looks like a bust. I'm sorry, he does. It just does not look very good. Rashard Matthews is okay. He's the default number one, but he's not elite or any stretch. And Eric Decker, he's sometimes reliable, but not great. Their most consistent weapon is Delaney Walker at tight end. It was just absolutely stunning to me that the Titans were able to pull that off. Again, like Buffalo, one of the worst wildcard teams I've ever seen. I would have much rather preferred Baltimore and the Chargers being in the wild card because they, I think, would have at least given these teams a better game. I think we would have seen more from them. How would you rather seen Baltimore or the Chargers take on Jacksonville? I would have, instead of freaking Buffalo. I would have much rather seen that. At least it would have given Jacksonville a game. But, just stunning to me that Kansas City blew that away. Again, no surprise to me at all that Atlanta beat the Rams. I was not surprised in that one bit. I knew that the Rams were going to regret resting their starters the week beforehand. You don't take your foot off the gas. You don't do it. Even though you have nothing to play for, even though you can't increase your seed, you got to keep going. You can't, I understand the 49ers were great with Jimmy Garoppolo, won his last 5 games. That's all well and good. Yay, good on you, Jimmy G. Yay. But if you're the Rams, you cannot take your foot off the gas, and clearly it showed. It showed against Atlanta. Atlanta, wasn't dominant by any stretch, but they were in control of that game. It was a very methodical win for Atlanta. It was just very methodical of them, that they were just in control all game. I never thought that the Rams, the Rams going to get in this game and win it. No, I never felt that watching that game. Atlanta was in control. The Jaguars-Bills game was just ugly. It was one of the worst ones I've ever watched, and Buffalo showed why they're just one of the worst wildcard teams ever in NFL history, period, end of statement. Just did not deserve to be in the postseason. It was just terrible. Jacksonville's defense shut down any offense that the Bills had. And again, the Bills are one-dimensional. They are clearly a run-the-ball team with LaShawn McCoy and or Tyrod Taylor. Buffalo, again, does not have an elite wide receiver option. Their guys aren't healthy. Kelvin Benjamin and Jordan Matthews, yes, they're good in their own merit, but they can't stay healthy for anything. And Zay Jones is still a rookie and just completed his rookie year. So they don't have a great option there yet. And now Tyrod Taylor may be gone next year. He may not be the starter in Buffalo anymore. So and Jacksonville's offense, they did just enough to get by. They had the one touchdown. That's all they needed. They didn't have to do much to beat this Buffalo team. Panthers-Saints, though, was the best game of wild card. That was just straight up fun. And it is. Whenever these two NFC South rivals get together, that is a straight up fun game. It is a back and forth battle. But here's the thing. The Saints, they find ways to win games at home. They are just a very solid team at home. And they own Carolina this year. They owned the Panthers 3 straight wins, beat them every time they played them this year. And I know Carolina is going to be good for years. They have plenty of talent offensively with Newton, with McCaffrey now there in the backfield, with Jonathan Stewart. Funchess is developing. Olsen when he's healthy. They have the talent there. But the problem was in this matchup, they didn't have the defense to keep up with that high-octane Saints offense. That was their problem. So that's the reason why Carolina lost, and that's why the Saints advanced. But then these divisional games, like I said, Eagles-Falcons, the Eagles are just the weirdest, worst number 1 seed I've ever seen. They just ugly game, 5 field goals. That hardly wins games on its own, but it's happened in the postseason before. I remember a couple years ago or something like that. It was a while back, and the Colts beat Baltimore in a game with all field goals. It was 15-6 or something like that. It was ugly, but that's what happened here with the Philadelphia Eagles. Their defense actually kind of led them in this game. Their offense didn't have to do very much because their defense was keeping Matt Ryan and his weapons in check. Now, the offense really does seem lost without Carson Wentz under center. It looks like a completely different team. And I said they better just keep embracing this underdog role. I love that. I think it was one of the Eagles after the game wearing the dog mask after the game. Just, because we're the underdogs. Yeah, just keep embracing that role because I hate to say it, but that's probably where you're going to be all the rest of this postseason long because no one's really getting, people are going to think you're the weakest team now in the postseason, the last of these four, because you don't have, that high-octane quarterback. You don't have that offense you once had. New England crushing Tennessee, I mean, let's be real. Was anyone surprised? No, especially not me. It was funny. The Titans score first in that game. It's 7-0, and Twitter goes nuts. They're like, "Oh, Tennessee scores first, OMG!" And I'm like, "Calm down, guys. It's just 7-0. It's nothing." After New England came back from 28-3 in the Super Bowl last year, I've learned that New England's not out of it until that clock hits 0 and they're down on the scoreboard. Calm down. Well, what happens after that? New England becomes New England. They scored 35 unanswered points. I mean, it's what Tom Brady and his weapons do in New England. It's and then shockingly, after Tennessee loses that game 35-14, 2 days later, the Titans and Mike Mularkey agree to part ways, or he gets fired. They agree to part ways. When we all thought Mularkey was going to get an extinction because he won the wild card game, that was downright shocking. So apparently, even winning a playoff game in this case doesn't necessarily save your job. So now there are 5 open jobs. There are 5 open jobs. Now, there are reportedly some guys tied to these jobs. Colts, Detroit, Giants, Arizona. Who am I missing? And now Tennessee. Yeah. Colts, Detroit, Giants, Arizona, Tennessee. Those are now the 5 open jobs. But reportedly, there's already guys being tied to these jobs. We all thought that Josh McDaniels now with the Tennessee job open. We heard the report this morning that Josh McDaniels might now go to Tennessee. Well, now there's reports saying that he's going to go to the Colts. So I don't know what happened there, but that's kind of surprising. The Patriots defense coordinator Matt Patricia is reportedly going to the Lions. Let's see. What else did I hear? I think that's really it. I didn't really hear anything else aside from those two. Oh, Pat Shurmur, though, might be going to the Giants, I believe. The Vikings offense coordinator, Pat Shurmur, might be going to the Giants. So I think that's all I've heard. I haven't really heard much about the Arizona job or Tennessee yet. So keep that in mind. So, yeah, there's still a lot to be sorted out, a lot to be discussed. The Jaguars, though, beat the Steelers again, but boy, that was an entertaining game. The Sunday games this weekend were the best. I mean, the Sunday games, let's be honest, the Sunday games were the absolute best this weekend. And I thought 30-9 was bad enough in week 5 with that 5 interception performance from Big Ben. And when he said, "I don't think I have it anymore," it was just absolutely downright stunning. Jacksonville's offense, though, was the surprise. I mean, we knew that their defense was very solid, but Jacksonville's offense came out of nowhere. They're only scoring 10 points against Buffalo the previous week. And that maybe had something to do with the fact that Buffalo's defense is, a very strong unit as well. But Jacksonville's offense came to life. They ran the ball down the Steelers' throat. Leonard Fournette, beastly as he's been all year, 3 touchdowns on the day, even though he had a hurt ankle briefly. He went off on the day, and actually Blake Bortles was quite efficient. Here's the thing about Blake Bortles. When Blake Bortles is on his game, when he's not throwing interceptions and screwing up, he's actually at least a decent functional quarterback. He's no longer the horrible quarterback that he once was. He's actually, being more efficient now in this offense. So, and when he's on his game, the Jags are impressive. They raced out to this 21-0 lead early. 28-7 lead at half. The Steelers completely out of rhythm. But we knew the Steelers at home, usually in the playoffs, they're not going to go down without a fight. And that's exactly what happened. Although some questionable decisions late in the game cost them dearly. Some questionable play calls. The onside kick, I don't know what the heck that was when they were, down by a few points. And the Jags were able to pull it out and hold on after they scored to make it 42-35. That onside kick was just weird. And that gave Jacksonville great field position, and instead of that field goal, it pretty much clinched the game for Jacksonville. I actually picked Jacksonville to win that game, and I think, and here's why, because I think they have a better shot at beating New England, in my opinion, than the Steelers ever would have. Because here's the thing. New England owns Pittsburgh. I mean, in the postseason, it's kind of like when New England had the rivalry with the Colts. New England owned the Colts in the postseason until that one time that Peyton Manning beat them. New England owns Pittsburgh in the postseason. Remember last year, the AFC Championship, when New England beat them 36-17? New England owns Pittsburgh. And I had a feeling that if that were to happen again, it would have been the same story, different day in Foxborough, because New England they do well at home, and they own Pittsburgh. But Jacksonville, to me, is more balanced, and New England, the thing about Tom Brady, he gets flustered against these pressure defenses. If you have a solid pass rush, which Jacksonville does, and they have a really good secondary, then you can fluster the Patriots. And if Bortles and his weapons are on their game like they were against Pittsburgh, it would not surprise me if Jacksonville won this game. I'm picking Jacksonville to win. It's going to be a close game, I think. I think I have something like 38-31. I want it to be a good, close game. But please, please, Jacksonville, please do this. I am sick and tired of seeing the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Please, Jaguars, let it happen. I'm begging you. Let it happen. As for Minnesota, wow. I mean, what more can you say but wow. That game and that ending, one of the greatest endings that you will ever see in a playoff game. And I picked the Vikings to beat the Saints, but I never could have predicted that ending. No one could, because here's the thing, stat, it's never happened. That was the first time ever that a walk-off touchdown had been scored in the postseason to win a game. That is how rare it was, because it never happened. It just unbelievable. The Vikings raced out to a 17-0 halftime lead on their home turf, and it was just stunning there. But then in the second half, the Saints know how to make adjustments. And the second half, Drew Brees became a completely different quarterback. The offense was on it again, and they started carving that strong Vikings secondary apart. Started just completely going off. The Saints took a 24-23 lead late in the game with like 28-some seconds left, and it looked like this game was over. It looked like, honestly, the game was over. The Vikings did have, I think, one timeout, but the game looked over. But then, with 10 seconds to go, Case Keenum, who's been one of the stories of the year, uncorks this bomb down the right sideline. Stephon Diggs, one of the great receivers of the Vikings, goes up and gets it. The Saints corner, Williams, he does a cowering in fear move. I think he was trying to avoid pass interference, I think, is something to that effect. But he was just completely down. Diggs goes up and gets it, and he is gonzo. 61 yards to the end zone, afterburner time for Stephon Diggs. Crazy. 29-24, as Google said, Minnesota won. It was just so crazy. That was just one of the craziest things anyone's ever seen. And I would love to see the Vikings get to the Super Bowl, because they would be the first team to ever host in their own stadium. That would just be the coolest thing. And I believe that they will, because here's the thing. Because, again, Philly, that 5 field goal thing might have worked against a team like Atlanta. How the blank is Philly going to score against that Minnesota defense? I honestly don't know how they're going to do it. If Minnesota – now, granted, Minnesota playing the Saints, it's the Saints. The Saints are great adjustments in the second half. When their offense is on their game, they're on it. But Philly, again, just looks completely different without Carson Wentz. How are they going to put up points against Minnesota? I understand Philly's going to be at home and have that home field advantage, but Minnesota can play anywhere, anytime. I don't see how they're going to do it. Completely different defense. So right now, my dream Super Bowl, my pick for the Super Bowl now, and I think a lot of the people, and I took a poll, and I think a lot of the people agree with me, Jaguars, Vikings. I would love to see that matchup in the Super Bowl. Come on, Jacksonville. Come on, Minnesota. Jacksonville, Victor Viking. I met you both this year at the Mascot Summit in Carmel. Make it happen. I would love to see that. I'd love. Oh, my tweet is getting blown up. I posted a picture on Twitter earlier tonight with the Sharks game against the Kings of Sharky coming in on the ATV and beating the Kings and saying don't call the Sharks goldfish. Bailey from the Kings. That's what happens when you call the Sharks goldfish. Then you lose 4-1, and now you're going to get slapped by Sharky at the All-Star game. And now it's getting very much popular on Twitter. So, dream Super Bowl. I want to see it. Jaguars, Vikings. Let's make it happen. And I've had a thought on this too, because I want to give, speaking of shout outs, I want to give one here too, because I'm thinking of doing this myself. I do not get local channels because unfortunately my dish satellite, in order for me to get channels, I have to be on the eastern arc of satellites, and I do not get the local channels in this area off the eastern arc. They're on the western arc. But the western arc is blocked by my neighbor's trees. So I would not be able to get channels on the western arc. So I don't get local channels here, so I have to find different ways to watch local games when they're on the local channels like CBS or NBC, Fox, or ABC. But then I found on YouTube, as I'm trying to find ways to follow along with the game, I found these commentators, Josh and Sean at the Sports Fury, and I gave them a shout out on my Twitter as I was watching the games yesterday, and I subscribed to their channel. You know, I talked in the chat room, and these guys do an outstanding job. Now I will forewarn you, they're a little bit vulgar because they drink and they do a little bit of cursing, but they have a good time watching these games, commentating, doing the play-by-play, and interacting with their viewers and subscribers and all that, and just they have a good time. And so shout out to those guys. You guys rock. You do an awesome job. You've gained a fan in me now, and a subscriber as well. So one of your 11,000 subscribers. So keep on up the great work. You guys killed it with the games this weekend. So awesome job. Keep up the great work. So fun stuff from them. So shout out to the Sports Fury. Follow them on Twitter at the Sports Fury. Watch subscribe to their channel. They do a great job. And I was thinking myself as I'm watching these guys, I'm thinking to myself, that gives me an idea. And I want your guys' thoughts on this. I might even post a poll on Twitter. I hold a Super Bowl party at my house here every year because I have a big television. So what would you guys want me to live stream that night, a live from my Super Bowl party, provide our play-by-play and commentary that night? I think that would be really cool if I did that. I really might consider doing that because I see how much fun these guys are having while they're commentating and play-by-playing on the game. And Nate and I, we talk every time we're watching playoff games and commentating. So, why the heck not? So I'm thinking about doing that. We'll see if that comes to fruition. That's an idea that popped in my head watching these guys. So if you guys want to see me live stream for my Super Bowl party on that night, February 4th, hit up the comment box, share something in my channel. Hit me up at Chris_Spiky- on Twitter. Let me know if you want to see a live stream from my Super Bowl party that night. I would love to do it. It'd be something new to do, something fun, just to share my play-by-play and my commentary that night on the game, especially if it is Jaguars Vikings, because then I don't know if I really have a rooting interest because the Jags, fellow AFC South team. I like the Colts. I like the Texans. So fellow AFC South brethren, rooting for them. Or Minnesota, what a great story it would be for them to win a Super Bowl in their own stadium. So either way, it'd be a great matchup. I really wouldn't have a full-on rooting interest. If it's anybody, if the Patriots make it, I'm rooting for the NFC team. Period. End of statement. If whoever it is, if the Patriots make it, I'll root for either the Eagles or Minnesota. Guaranteed. Period. End of statement. If it's the Patriots, I'm rooting for the teams playing the Patriots, bar none. If it's Jaguars, Eagles, that one, then I might lean Jacksonville because, again, AFC South. So, and I think they'd be the better choice. So that's how I would see it. But, again, if you guys want me to live stream that night, let me know. And I might end up just doing it anyway because I think it's a brilliant idea. But I want to hear what you guys think too. So let me know on that. Excuse me. All right. Topic number 4. Net neutrality. This one not only affects me being a YouTuber and using the internet, but it affects you. It affects everybody that uses the internet. This is another thing that just really ticks me off, man. It really does. The FCC and their leader, IG Pie, the guy with the dorkiest smile I've ever seen on the internet, voted to end net neutrality. And and you're saying to yourself, well, what does that mean? Well, that basically means now that companies and these big time companies like your AT&T, your Time Warner, your Comcast, your Verizon, these big time companies can start throttling back websites, competitors that they see as threatening to their businesses, and they can charge extra for these services that normally we really, in a way, take for granted and are free. That we, like YouTube, like other stuff out there, Pandora, these sports sites, anything, whatever. They can start charging extra for that or do package deals. So the internet would be completely changed. It will change the internet forever as we know it, despite what the jerk and dick Pi says. He says, oh, no, it won't change it. That's bull, and we all know it. It will change it. We may no longer be able to do what we love here on YouTube if this repeal remains. So I'm asking you guys, spread the word to Congress, because this isn't over yet. We're going to fight. This isn't over. Spread the word to Congress. Tell them to fight this. Overturn this repeal of net neutrality. There's still a chance. If Congress can just come together on this and agree that we deserve a free and open internet with no help holding backs, no throttling back, no charging for services that we don't feel should be charged, let your congressman know, hey, you have an ability, you have an authority to overturn this repeal. Do it. By all means, fight it in court. Do it. We need to have this. And there's several states already that are going to do that and fight this and go against the arbitration. I think there's like 20 some states that are already agreeing to do this. Granted, my state, Indiana, is not one of them because, hello, Mike Pence is the vice president in the White House, so they're not going to do it, obviously. But just go out there, make your voice be heard. Let them know. Excuse me. Now, I will say this: my internet provider is Frontier, and I love Frontier. I always tell people at my job, when they say, oh, my internet company's screwing me over, I say, well, how much are you paying? They tell me this ridiculous price, and I say, switch to Frontier because I only pay $39.99 a month for Frontier, and they provide me excellent service. There is the occasional hiccup with maybe there's a outage that affects Fort Wayne or something like that. It affects me, but aside from that, I get great internet from Frontier, and they've actually come out and said, even though the FCC has done this, that their speeds will not be affected. And at first when they said that, I kind of wanted to take the okay, I'll believe it when I see it approach, but they've actually even commented back to me and said, no, here's our policy, here's what we believe, here's what we do. We don't do that. We don't throttle speeds back. So we'll see what the future holds in terms of me. For now, I'm good. I really haven't been fully affected by this, and we'll see what the future holds for net neutrality. But I'm really hoping for everyone else that may be affected by this, that this gets straightened out, because this is a big deal. This is a big deal for the future of the internet, and I'm sure several other reviewers out there and YouTubers that do stuff on YouTube. So big thing there. Okay, let's see. Here we go. All right. Let's move on. Topic number 5. Video games in review 2017. I've been looking forward to this. Let's be honest. 2017 was a very impressive year for video gaming. It was very huge. There were several big hits, mainly a lot of them in franchises. But we also had the fastest selling console in United States history for the first 10 months of its release. And of course, I am talking about the Nintendo Switch. What a huge success it has been. When the Wii U released, the years prior, I did not have a good feeling right away, because on release day there were so many struggles with the Wii U, and it seemed like a good concept. It seemed like at the time it was a great concept. The problem though was Nintendo was really not putting out that very many great games for it. They didn't really, it's kind of like they didn't believe in their own system. They really didn't put out some great games. And when I had my Wii U, all I was really into was Mario Kart 8, and I played it for a while, and that was fun for a while, and it was like, oh, well, I'm doing so well on all these tracks. Where's the challenge? It really wasn't a very challenging game. And then I briefly got Splatoon, and that was, and it's like, and that mainly sucked because the bread and butter of Splatoon is the multiplayer. The multiplayer was awesome when it worked because my internet would keep dropping. I couldn't be able to stay in matches for too long. It was fun when I would get that to work, but it rarely worked. And the single-player campaign just sucked. It absolutely sucked because Nintendo's own strategy guide lied to you. They lie to you because it says in the strategy guide, this is true, you can hide in your own ink and your enemies cannot hit you. That is false. That is a falsehood. And it happened to me multiple times throughout the game. And the tutorial is a joke because it takes forever. It took me forever just to get through the darn tutorial in that game. So it was frustrating. I hated it. I really didn't have much fun with the Wii U, to be honest. So as soon as they came out with the Switch, not that I was going to get a Switch, but once they came out with that, and once they said the Wii U stopped production, I got rid of mine. I didn't even want to bother to sell it. I was done. If Nintendo was done with the Wii U, they gave up on it. I gave up on it too. I'm like, F that noise. So I gave up on it. The enjoyment that I'd gotten out of it for what little there was gone. It was gone. So it's like, Nintendo just didn't work. But no, the Switch though has been a blockbuster. Literally 4.8 million units sold in its first 10 months here in North America. I'm sure a lot more in Japan, obviously, where they've just been selling it constantly. And that bested the previous record actually set by the original Wii, which of course was a huge success. It sold 4 million units in its first 10 months. The Switch crushed that record. Now, we also saw Nintendo this past year release the SNES Classic, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, the mini version of it, which was another massive success after its counterpart, the NES Classic, did so well. The problem, though, with both of those systems is that demand just continues to seem to outweigh the supply. People keep asking me for either the SNES or the NES or Walmart, and I have to keep telling them, it's kind of hard to say if or when we're ever going to get them back in stock because it's so hit or miss. We don't know when that's going to be. So it's just been very hard to keep up with that. Finding actual units in stores has really been a challenge across any store, not just Walmart, but anywhere across the country. And online, if you want to buy one online, you better have a lot of green because they are going, I've seen some prices on the SNES Classic of upwards of $130 plus, when normally in stores it sells for $60, $70. So that is nearly twice what it sells in stores. That is ridiculous, number one. But number two, you better have a lot of green stored up if you want to buy one online. So very, very hard to find. But for those of you who do have them, I'm sure they're enjoyable, and it's very nostalgic. It's a throwback. It's nostalgic. It's very, very much the throwback to the classic gaming system. So I'm sure they are very, very cool. And like I said, there were some very successful titles, mainly in these well-known franchises, but there were also some really big-time clunkers. There were games that I saw that I thought never should have seen the light of day. I mean, they were just some who were just looked really, really bad. I didn't understand them, didn't know who their target audience was. They didn't sell when they were sitting on my shelf, so it was just crazy. So I'm going to share with you guys my top 10 lists of 2017 in video games. This is my own personal opinion. This is based on a lot of things. This is based on hype versus sales. This is, game sales is a big thing for me because I work in retail. Just whether the game did well overall, game ratings, a lot. This is based on a lot of different things. So this is how I view these games. So let's start with the good, because we want to start with the good. Let's start with the good of 2017. Let's start with my opinion of the top 10 best games of the year. Number 10, we'll start with the Switch right out of the box. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch is my number 10. Now Mario Kart, of course, sacred franchise. We know this. This, of course, we knew from the moment the Switch was announced, this was going to be, this was one of the first games released for the Switch on release day. And we could not keep it on the shelves. Like it would go in an instant. There was also a bundle pack that was sold with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it massively sold. It was basically a kind of remake / remaster version of the original game. It was made for Wii U, which is also a very good game on its own, but this had a little more, I guess maybe a little more bells and whistles to it. But oh man, it looked awesome graphically. It played very similar to the Wii U version with those awesome tracks. The numerous selection of characters. It was just my buddy Nate, who you guys know Nate. He even played a demo of it, I think, at GameStop in Lafayette, and it looked so good, and it sold really well. So kudos again to Nintendo for the great year they had in 2017. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch, my number 10 for best game of the year. Number 9, sticking with the Switch and sticking with the Mario theme, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Again, another game, another title, I didn't think actually would do like majorly well out of the box. Unlike Mario Kart 8, I didn't think it would do as well, but boy, I was surprised. Now, when I saw this game at E3, I was very impressed by it. I like the idea of this crossover, and I know a lot of people I don't think are big fans of the Rabbids. I think that, you kind of see them as kind of, unless you really are into like, the weird humor and and the quirkiness of them, and that's fine. That's all well and good, but doing the Mario crossover, it was something different. It was something different. It was something unique. It was something cool, and it worked. It sold quite well. We've hardly been able to keep that game on the shelf when we've had it. It's been so hard to find. So the Switch just put out a lot of really good titles this year. Some of them were remasters of previous games, like Doom and FIFA 18, and they're bringing Skyrim to the Switch, and that kind of thing. And that's all well and good. But these original titles, when it came to the Switch, were massive successes. So kudos again to Nintendo. Kudos to these developers. Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, my number 9. Number 8, Resident Evil 7. I mean, again, let's be honest. The Resident Evil franchise continues to pump out successes. Now, I know there were some that really were not thrilled with Resident Evil 6, and I get that. It really, it was kind of a odd bump in the road clunker for the franchise, but they restored that with Resident Evil 7, and the franchise needed this. It needed that resurgence, and from the moment that the game hit the shelf at my Walmart, it was selling like crazy, and I still, at the moment, don't have it back in, especially for, I don't think for either system. So it has been very hard for us to keep that game in stock, but the franchise needed this. It needed a resurgence. It needed a revival after the hiccup that was Resident Evil 6, and 7 definitely came through there in a big way. Number 7, close to my heart, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy for PS4. When this, and I wish this could be a lot higher on the list, but there were just so many other good games that were a little bit higher on this list. But in terms of a remaster, this was the best remaster of 2017, in my opinion. Crash Bandicoot is close to my heart. Crash Bandicoot is one of the first games I ever played on the original PlayStation, along with games like with sports games and all that. And I play sports and racing games, but there was something about Crash I just really liked. I love the character. I love the story. I love the design. I love the cool levels. I loved Crash, and I still do to this day. And you guys know that when I watched Skylanders Academy and Crash Bandicoot was in the show, I freaked. I was like, it's Crash Bandicoot. And you can see why, because yes, I did even get the Crash Bandicoot Skylanders figure that was in the game and in the show. And true fun fact, did you know actually that the voice of Crash Bandicoot in Skylanders Academy is none other than Eric Rogers, the director of the show? True story. Which I found really cool. But yeah, I had to get the Crash figure. I love Crash. There's just something about some of these iconic characters. Like I love Sonic. I love Sonic Hedgehog 2 with him and Tails. I love that, the Sonic series. But there's something about Crash that just stuck with me. And the original games, I loved it. And I did get the game for PS4. Now, the downside is with me being so busy these past couple months, I really have not had a chance to play the game yet. I really do, though. I want to get into the game. I really want to play it. People have said, though, they've told me, though, that it is a little bit harder than the original game. So I'm up for that challenge. So I'm looking forward to playing it. But another game we've really had trouble keeping in stock because people people just love Crash. There's something about his character and the stories and just, it really hits deep. It hits deep to me. I love Crash Bandicoot. Best remaster of the year. Now, of course, then, so now with Activision and all them, and now there's people saying, you know, oh, what remaster's next? And of course, people go, Spyro, the Spyro trilogy's next. I hope that's the, if that's the case, that'd be cool. I think, and there's also been a rumor out there that more Spyro merchandise is coming. So that means hopefully there's a Spyro remaster. We'll see. But that would be pretty sweet too if that comes out on PS4. But close to my heart. Number 6 best game of 2017, Ghost Recon Wildlands. Another game that just sold like crazy when it hit the sales floor. I mean, let's be honest. Again, Tom Clancy, this franchise needed a revival. It needed saving after The Division fell flat on its face. It was one of the worst games of 2017 or 2016. It was probably on my list, and I'm sure it was, as one of the worst or disappointing games of 2016 because we expected so much from the Tom Clancy name. Well, Ghost Recon Wildlands redeemed itself, and it was just an open world game. The graphics were stunning. The gameplay looked awesome, and it was just, again, it's a game that really we just have had trouble keeping on the shelf. And even now to this day, the game is still selling like crazy. So another game that this franchise needed a reboot, needed a revival after The Division. It got it in the form of Ghost Recon Wildlands. Number 5, and I know some people are going to say this is very low on my list, but the only reason it's low on the list is, again, because I think there were other games that shine more above it. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I know that people are going to think that I'm crazy for putting it that low at number 5. But here's the thing. Again, in this case, to me, it was kind of like supply outweighing demand. So many people wanted the Switch. So many people for a while couldn't find it. And this game, as soon as it hit the floor, it also sold like crazy. It was so hard to find. In fact, true statement at my Walmart, ever since we went through our first shipment of the game, we have not got it back in. Period. We have not been able to get more copies of the game since we sold through like our first shipment of like I think it was like 15, 16 some games. We haven't gotten any more in. So that has been, it's just been so hard to find this game. And don't get me wrong, the game is masterclass. The game is definitely one of the top games of the year. Don't get me wrong. And it won, I think it won best game at the Game Awards, and that's cool. But in my opinion, it was just the fact that it was so hard to find. It was just, you've got to have supply to carry the demand. You've got to be able to provide the consumers what they want. And since we never got the game back in after that original shipment, I kind of have to have it lower on my list because availability, it has to be there for the customers to purchase. And with me and my store, it wasn't. So I love the game. The game was great. It was definitely one of the best games, best Switch games, period. Probably the best Switch game of the year. Aside from another one that I have a little bit higher on the list. But aside from that, it was so hard to find. So hard to find. Number 4, Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Again, another franchise that really needed a revival. It's not that Shadow of Mordor was a bad game. It was just disappointing when it came out. It was just, I don't think it met a lot of people's expectations, but boy, Shadow of War did that and then some. It kind of maybe surpassed people's expectations. It just rose to the challenge. And again, it was a game when it hit the floor. Oh man, we'd have to keep ordering it because it just would sell out like crazy. And it was just so, again, that game is so graphically impressive and the gameplay is intense and everything to that effect. Shadow of War, again, definitely was a redeeming quality for this franchise. Number 3 game of 2017. You want to talk about a redemption story? Call of Duty World War II. I don't think a franchise needed as much redeeming as Call of Duty did after the past couple disasters that were Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, which was sort of a disaster, not fully, but sort of. Call of Duty needed to kind of go back to its roots. They were, I talk about like the Cars franchise needing to go in the movies, need to go back to its roots after Cars 2 stunk, and Cars 3 went back to its roots and was awesome. This was kind of a Cars-like resurgence, for Call of Duty. It needed this. It needed to go back to its roots, to get back to what made it successful. And World War II did that and then some. The game is still selling to this day. We are, in fact, of course, we got a ton of copies at launch when it launched in November. It's January, 2 months in, we're almost sold out of our original shipment. That's how much this game has sold like crazy. So Call of Duty needed this. It needed that resurgence, and that's why it needs to be high on the list, because it needed to go back to its roots and reap the success. So hats off to everyone at Call of Duty for made the game. Cheers to you guys, because you needed that. Number 2, in my opinion, the best Switch game of the year. In my opinion, I know Legend of Zelda is up there, but in my opinion, this is the best because of the open world aspect, of the endless things that you can do in the game, the most iconic character in Nintendo history, and just the amount of things you could do in this game was just so immense. I'm talking, of course, about Super Mario Odyssey, and we still have copies to this day, but it is by far, hands down, one of the biggest selling Switch games of the year. To me, it's the best Switch game of the year. I mean, this is what it's all about when it comes to playing with Mario, and taking him out of his normal experience and putting him in our world with an endless array of possibilities. This game was like the dream game for Mario fans. Now, maybe Mario. If you want to be like the game for Mario fans that have a nostalgic feel, you play Super Mario Maker for Wii U or 3DS. But for those of us with a Switch, we didn't have that experience because they didn't really bring a game like that to the Switch yet. But they finally did when they announced Odyssey, and this game showed those endless possibilities. So by far, in my opinion, was the best Switch game of the year, one of the best games of the year, hands down. This game crushed it. I mean, just flat out crushed it. But in my honest opinion, the one game that crushed it from the start, that I never read a bad review about, that to this day is still selling and is hard to keep on our sales floor, that I knew would be a great success from the start because of its concepts, its open world, it's great gameplay, it's amazing graphics. A game that I also had on my most anticipated list of 2017, and actually was my number 1 game of the most anticipated games of 2017, and I knew would crush it. Horizon Zero Dawn. Let's be real. Let's be honest. This game crushed it. I mean, just flat out crushed it. I never heard a single complaint from any customer, from any gamer, from any reviewer online about this game in a negative way. I never saw anything like that. This game, I mean, find the flaw? It's like, it's like you try to find your own game. Find the flaw in Horizon Zero Dawn. I couldn't find one, and I don't think anyone else could either. The game, again, we don't even have it in stock right now. It's been selling like crazy ever since it released. They released the complete edition with all the DLC. That's been hard to find now. We sold through that rather quickly. This game is a massive success, and when anyone is looking for a new game for their PlayStation 4, if we have it in stock, I always say, well, have you tried, what games do you like to play? Oh, I like to play open world. I like to play, interesting new games. Have you tried Horizon Zero Dawn? Have you heard about Horizon Zero Dawn? Have you heard about it? No, I never heard about it. It's a great game. I mean, I recommend it to anybody that wants a new experience, that wants an open world experience. If they're fond of that, I recommended them Horizon Zero Dawn, and usually they come back to me and say, thanks for recommending that because this game kicks what. So, to me, it's the game of the year. It was hype from the start, good reviews from the start, amazing seller, everything about it looked pristine, masterclass. To me, it's the #1 game of the year. Let's go to disappointing. Let's go. We'll save the worst of the worst for last. Let's go to disappointing games of the year. These games, to me, were games that got a ton of hype, a ton of excitement, and in the end, just did not follow through. I was expecting so much from these games, and they just didn't pan out in the end, for whatever reason. Number 10, Elder Scrolls Morrowind. Yeah, I mean, we think Elder Scrolls. We think is going to be this big time seller. Skyrim was one of the biggest games of all time, and then put out the online edition with the Tamriel pack, and that was just a big time seller. And then Morrowind comes out, and I'm just seeing it sitting there on the shelf. Like, what happened? Like, what happened, Morrowind? Was it what turned your fans off? I didn't understand, why it was just this game wasn't selling. I don't remember really selling very many copies at all, even on release day. I don't remember it very, like flying off the shelf or anything. We still have a ton of copies of this game. So to me, it was just a bit of a disappointment because you expect so much big sales from Elder Scrolls, especially with the success of Skyrim, and it really didn't have that. So I was a little bit disappointed in Elder Scrolls. It's lower on the list because, again, the Elder Scrolls name carries so much weight, but I expected a lot more from Morrowind. Number 9, Sniper Elite 4. Again, I don't know if there's much left in this franchise. It looks like it's running out of ideas. These sniper franchises, with Sniper, Ghost Warrior, and the original Sniper game, and now this Elite series, I think it's running out of steam. It's really not the big franchise that it once was when these games first came out, and people really gravitated to them. The problem is there's so many of these shooting light games that that the market's kind of oversaturated with them. So I think Sniper Elite's kind of getting lost in that shuffle, and when it has to go up against these games like the Call of Duties and the Battlefields and the Halos and what have you, it's tough. It's tough to compete in that kind of market when you have a similar game style as those games. So I feel bad for the people behind that game because they're just not. It's not hitting with the demographic they're going for because they're playing the more high profile games. So I feel bad for the people behind that game. I hope that's not the death knell for the franchise. I hope that we see more because to me the game looks very solid, but it's disappointing because you just want to, you feel like it's not getting the pub that it should because of the market. Number 8, Evil Within 2. My gosh. I mean, can we get away from the horror titles? I mean, the first Evil Within, yeah, it was successful, but gosh, when you're making a game that literally scares the pants off people, and then you do the same thing, and this game has been sitting on my shelf for months, spot full, ever since the game has come out. Nobody's buying this game. It is just, can we get away from this? I mean, when you make a game that's even too scary to play, that's a problem. I mean, let's be honest, let's be real. I mean, it's asking too much. Yes, you can make intense, scary games, but when you're making it to the point of where the people, can't even leave their controller on to play it, I mean, that's a problem. So, again, hoping, maybe that's the death knell, maybe not, we'll see, but disappointing in that regard that it just can't sell. Number 7 and 6 maybe we can kind of go together because, again, maybe this other genre that's kind of wearing itself out is the fighting game genre. I'm talking here with number 7, fitting number 7, Tekken 7, and then number 6, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I mean, it has the fighting games run their gamut. I mean, it's these games that don't really sell all that well. It's sad because for a long time, what was the dominant fighting game? Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat had the market cornered on the genre for a long time. And then came Street Fighter, and then came Tekken, and then came Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and then came and then they decided, hey, let's throw Marvel and Capcom characters together and make them fight each other. And then came Super Smash, let's make all the Nintendo characters fight each other. It feels like it's running the gamut. It feels like it's running its course. It just feels like it's again running out of steam, and there's nothing left for it. So. Just these games, just to me, they sit on my shelf. I have either 2 full facings of Marvel Capcom Infinite or 3, just tons of copies that we just cannot get rid of. And I know the price is going down, but it's like, my gosh, we can't get rid of these games fast enough because nobody wants to play these fighting games. It's worn out its welcome. It's exhausting. It's boring. It's tedious. No one wants to play them. So that's why both those are disappointing. That if they don't make some of their money back, that might be the death knell. They might not want to go down that route again. Now, granted, we haven't seen a new Mortal Kombat game in a while either. I think Mortal Kombat X or XL was the last one we saw there. So could the fighting genre be slowly making a slow, steep decline? That's what it might be looking like a little bit here. All right, top 5 most disappointing. Number 5, and I hate to keep putting this franchise on here, but it keeps disappointing us. Mass Effect Andromeda. I mean, my gosh, Mass Effect. I mean, you keep screwing up. I mean, and it's disappointing because we expect better from you. We expect so much more from your games, especially after the disappointment that was Mass Effect 3, which I believe was on both my worst and my disappointing list in 2016. It was just, and we thought Andromeda would be the savior of this franchise, but it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And then they told us, it's going to be better. Don't worry. They promised these so many things, kind of like No Man's Sky, but they promised us so much, and it fell flat on its face. This game was the same way, and this game has had trouble selling as well in my store. And it's just been I just keep staring at it, and it's like, we expected so much more from you. We expected better from you, and what happened? And it didn't work. So it was tough to see. It was tough to see that game kind of disappoint and not reach the level that it was expected to. So again, I hope those last couple games are not the death knell for the franchise, but it may look like it. It may look like it would be the end all, the be all end all for that franchise. Number 4, and this one's tough for me because I had such high hopes for this game myself after seeing it at E3. I really wanted this game to do well. Super Lucky's Tale. I wanted this game to do so well because it looked so neat at E3. It looked so good, and I don't think it got the hype. I wanted. I tried so hard to hype it up. I wanted this game to do well, and in the end, though, we didn't get a lot of copies of it, and B, whatever we did, it would only occasionally sell. It wouldn't sell out at a rapid rate. It was just very disappointing to see, and it hurt because I love games like that are just kind of first player centric, but at the same time cool level designs. The gameplay looks great, graphics look great. I thought this was just so cool looking, and it fell flat. And I thought, oh, I tried. Super Lucky Tale, I tried with you to hype you up, and didn't work out. So that one hurts. That one hurts me personally because I really had a big faith in that game. Number 3, after I praised Resident Evil 7 for the great job that it did in bringing the franchise back, what the hell was Resident Evil Revelations? I mean, oh my gosh, that game, it didn't sell at all. I mean, at all. I mean, honestly. I mean, it was just terrible. It just sat there and sat there and sat there, and nobody was buying this game. So it goes to show that sometimes, having a name doesn't mean anything sometimes, and nobody was touching this game and still haven't to this day. But I don't even think we sell it anymore. That's how just it fell off the face of the earth. So to me, that's just very disappointing when a game just disappears that quickly and doesn't sell. Very disappointing. Number 2, Prey. Oh, Prey. Again, at E3, it looked like you had it all. This game was majorly overhyped. This game looked so good. It looked awesome. It was intense. The gameplay, the action just screamed, buy me. This game is, it's intense. It's super, you're this person, you got to chase this, thing and try to kill it. And, it was awesome. And then it released. And I don't even remember selling one copy. In fact, I still have several copies for Xbox One and PS4 to this very day. Even at a rollback price, nobody is buying this game. Nobody is buying Prey. And I have to walk by the game aisle every day looking at Prey going, what happened to you? Nobody's buying you. It was just super disappointing, and it could, and really it should be number 1, but there's a game that's, in my opinion, was a lot worse. But it's Prey, what happened? We had such high hopes for you, And now nobody bought you. Even at a rollback price, nobody's buying you. It was just, I don't know if it was glitchy or if it was just it wasn't smooth. The rollout, something in the game, I don't know. The reviews were like okay, not great, not off the page, but okay. But apparently that was enough to turn people off because, like I said, nobody's buying this game. Utterly disappointing. But unfortunately, in my opinion, number one, the big one, the biggest disappointment. A game that I looked forward to playing when it was announced, when it was released, when it was said that it was coming to the new generation of consoles, when it was coming to Xbox One and PS4. I was looking forward to this game when it was announced because, again, it reminded me of something from my childhood. And then when it was released, it didn't happen. The number one disappointing to me is Yooka-Laylee, you frickin' bastards. And here's why. Because I was looking forward to playing this game. I was looking forward to it because someone that grew up with Banjo-Kazooie, which the game reminds me of. And I loved that game, playing it when I was young. It reminded me of my childhood. And then I find out that's what it's going to get released on. I'm excited. And it said that it was going to release on PlayStation 4. And then when on release day, when I'm looking for it in our Walmart, I'm looking for it. And you only put it out for Xbox One. We didn't even get it for PlayStation 4. And then later, you announce that it's going to come out on the Switch? Where in the blank is it for PlayStation 4? I was looking forward to playing that game. And you disappointed me for not releasing it on release day. I don't know where it is now. If it's ever going to see the light of day, I don't know. But it disappointed me. I didn't even get a chance to get it or play it. And now I think it's not even a rollback price. But I was looking forward to it. Now I'm not going to get that chance. Bastards. Platonic. Screw you. Screw you. It wasn't so nice to give you a certain finger. Bastards. All right. That might have been the most disappointing, but I'm going to spare Yooka-Laylee from being on the worst list because it's not the worst game, in my opinion. It's not a game that shouldn't have seen the light of day, which I think some of these shouldn't have. I'll spare it from that at least. It's not the worst. But not even the worst 10. These are the worst 10 in my opinion. Number 10, Agents of Mayhem. Who the heck was this game marketed for? I mean, seriously. Like this game, I didn't understand the concept of it. I didn't, was it kind of supposed to be like Overwatch in a way? Like were they trying to rip off Overwatch? Like with all these different characters and stuff? And I believe it released on the same day as Overwatch, which was stupid of them in and of themselves. I think they were trying too hard to be Overwatch, and they couldn't. Or no, it was Battleborn. It was Battleborn that released either the same day or the same week as Overwatch, and that's why that flopped because Overwatch was better. But then Agents of Mayhem comes out and apparently also tries to be Overwatch and fails miserably. I don't know who this game was marketed for, but it hasn't sold for crap in my store either. So I didn't get Agents of Mayhem. Number 9, worst. Project Cars 2. There are just some car games apparently that cannot hold up. They can't compete with the Forzas and the Need for Speeds and of the world. There are some that those that can't hold a candle to those two games. Those two franchises have the racing chasing market cornered. Project Cars has failed miserably in both instances with this franchise. Again, this was a game we had briefly for a few weeks on our shelves and then just disappeared. Like, never got it back in, ever. Like, we sold through what we had and boop, gone. Just never got it back in. I mean, we only had like a few copies. Like, we didn't expect to have massive sales. And why would we? Because, again, this game, and maybe a close third. The crew has tried to get in, to be successful in that, but it's kind of teetering on being good. Not the great ones, but close. But Project Cars fails miserably. It just cannot compete. It's trying, but it's just not the same. It doesn't have those same attributes as those games. And this might be the death knell. This might be the end. I can't foretell a Project Cars 3 in the future. I don't think it's going to happen because this game is just not sold very well. Number 8, what the hell is Lex? Like, seriously, who the blank was this game made for? Why did it see the light of day? What does it entail? This when I saw it, I'm like, wait, what? What is this? Who is it made for? What is it trying to come across as? I didn't understand it one bit. And games I don't understand usually get put on the worst list because I don't see how these will be successful. I don't. And with a weird name, Elex. That sounds like a rigged election. It sounds, I don't think he got Elex right. It just sounds weird. I didn't get the title. I didn't get the game. I didn't get it at all. Number 7, again, another game that I found weird. The Surge, like for Xbox One, an exclusive here. This game, the cover reminded me of another game. It's on this list later that I'll talk about. But this, I look at that and I go, it looks like a carbon copy of the other bad game. I mean, what the heck is this game? Why is it out here? It's still sitting on my sales for this day, not selling. Like, what is this? Who is this made for? I don't understand it. It's just I look at it and I'm like, I don't get this. Like the story is weird. The graphics look weird. Concept weird. I don't get this. So I didn't get the Surge. Number 6, Siberia 3. I mean, this concept looked effed up. I mean, the cover of the game from the start, I see it on the floor and I'm like, this is effed up. You got this scary looking girl on the front and the messed up Ferris wheel in the background. And I'm like, what the blank is this? I mean, is this another one like Evil Within trying to scare us or something? This is like, no, this is ridiculous. I didn't get it. It didn't last very long on our sales floor. And then it faded into oblivion. I didn't understand it. Completely effed up. Number 5, I have a tie because these two kind of go together in my opinion. Torment, Tides of Numenera, and Styx, Shards of Darkness. Again, 2 dark games. Like what is the pull of these games? Like what draws creators to make these games and think they're going to be successful? These games, again, still sitting on my floor, not selling. I mean, and I don't even know if we've sold a copy of them, period. I don't get the pull of these games. I don't know who they gravitate towards to. I don't understand it. And Styx, Shards of Darkness, that game was like pushed back for like a full year. And so I didn't even expect it to finally get released. Eventually it did, but after that, the damage was done. Like whatever momentum it may have had prior to that time was just gone. So it totally killed it. So I didn't get it. I don't understand either of those franchises. The pull of those games, I don't get it. And kind of scary, intense. I don't get it. Number 4, worst game of 2017, Rime. And this game actually had a little bit of hype around it, I think. I think when Rime was announced at E3, people thought it actually looked kind of cool. But when it was released, it got lost. And I think it got released during a week that there were so many other big games in front of it. And it just got lost in the shuffle. Nobody was buying Rime. Nobody. And we didn't really get very many copies either. So it was not only disappointing in that regard, but nobody bought it. Like, and everything I read, like people were really disappointed and frustrated with Rime. They didn't, maybe again they were promised something, and it didn't live up to that hype. So it was just, It didn't work out, and Rhyme didn't last too long on our sales floor either. Once it went down in price and sold through, that was it. We didn't get any more copies. That was done. Rhyme's death bell had been struck. It was done. So that was just an exclusive that totally fell flat on its face. It might be one of the bigger ones of the year. It was just totally disappointing, bad. Just did not work out. Number 3, Troll and I. I cannot believe this game was even made. Saw the light of day. Priced at what it was. I don't understand it at all. I look at this when we get it on release day. I'm looking at this going, what the F is this? Who are you marketing this game for? I mean, seriously, who is going to spend their money? Who's going to look through the game aisle, stumble upon the new releases and go, Troll and I. You know, I've always wanted a game where I would partner up with a troll. Yeah, because I remember my childhood, the 3 Billy Goat Scruff, that story with the troll. Man, I've always wanted to partner with a troll. And ironically enough, the game was released before I think the Trolls movie came out, and then with the cute little characters. So it's like it kind of maybe distorted your mind a bit. I didn't get it. I did not get it. I did not understand why it hit the floor. I didn't get it at all. Just completely did not understand it. Number 2. And this is tough because this has one of the names of one of the best franchises you've ever seen. Usually, the Halo franchise does not miss. Usually, whether it's any of the original Halo games, whether it's the Master Chief Collection, whether it's Halo Wars, Halo 3, ODST, what have you, all the Halo games have been home runs. But boy howdy, Halo Wars 2 fell flat on its face. Nobody was buying Halo Wars 2 at launch. Nobody. And to this day, it's still sitting on my shelf. 2 facings. That's 16 games sitting on my shelf because nobody, and I believe it's on rollback now too, but nobody is buying this game, and nobody has. It's just because everybody complained about it. Nobody liked it. When they saw this game, people said it's a sham. It's a shame to have the Halo title attached to its name to be part of this franchise because it's awful. I didn't read a single positive review on Halo Wars 2. It was just so gravely disappointing, and people were frustrated and didn't want any part of it, and it shows in the lackluster sales for Halo Wars 2. So that's why it more than earns this number 2 spot on the list. But in my opinion, there's 2 games that were the butt of jokes that were just people said were trash in the beginning for a variety of different reasons. One because of a stupid concept in its game, and the other because of microtransactions. You probably know where I'm going with that second one. I have to put these as a tie because I think they're both egregious on their own. I'm talking about the 2 worst games of 2017, Gran Turismo Sport and Star Wars Battlefront 2. Let's talk first about Battlefront 2 because that's one I'm sure you're not surprised by. I mean, Battlefront 2, as I've seen by everybody and read by everybody, is just absolute trash. Because the loot boxes are a joke. Microtransactions are a joke. Everyone said that it makes EA a joke. It taints the Star Wars franchise name. And it is just a game that we still have buku copies of to this day. And it's already on rollback. The PS4 console with the game in it is already on rollback. It's $50 cheaper than the actual slim 1 terabyte PS4 right now. That's how people treat this game, as absolute junk. There was even somebody on Twitter that I saw take on Black Friday or Black Thursday, true story, took a picture on Twitter of a end cap of video games that was completely empty except for Battlefront 2. And you know what the caption was at the top? Well, at least the people are buying everything except the trash. That's what it said. because that clearly shows that nobody was supporting Battlefront 2. And the first Battlefront was great. And people were expecting so many great things from Battlefront 2, and EA ruined it with the microtransactions. So people were just vaguely, masterfully disappointed and mad because of that. But it's not alone. It's not alone. It's egregiousness disaster. Oh no. That also goes to another game I was looking forward to playing, that I really thought about playing and buying, but apparently can't hold a candle to Forza or Need for Speed. And that's Gran Turismo Sport, you dill holes. Because your game punishes players for poor driving. What the hell? That's egregious. What? So everyone's got to be a masterclass perfect driver to play your game? What the hell? That's ridiculous. When it's these games that are all about, when it should be about progression and getting better and improving your skills. Why do you think I prefer Drive Club to that? Because Drive Club doesn't do that crap. Drive Club takes what you have as a driver and integrates it. It puts your skills based on how you drive. It doesn't punish you for any of that crap. It doesn't punish you for poor driving. It doesn't do that crap. Come on now. Come on, man. I was going to buy Gran Turismo Sport. I was. Because I was excited about it coming out. But then I read a review on Kotaku. And thank God for all you reviewers at Kotaku, because you put out truth. You put out good stuff. That said, Gran Turismo Sport is a joke because it punishes you. It punishes players for poor driving. There's a sportsmanship setting, a sportsmanship mode, or gamesmanship mode, if you will, that if you do certain things in the game wrong, you lose points. It punishes you. The game punishes you for poor driving. That is total BS. You shouldn't be punished in a game because you're not a perfect player. If gaming companies are going to start expecting players to be freaking perfect in their game, why bother making the game? Why bother sitting down at all and deciding, hey, everybody, okay, we're going to make our new racing game. It's going to be a new Gran Turismo game. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be called Gran Turismo Sport. That's what we're going to call it, sport, because we think it's a sport, but it might not fully be a sport. But, because we're going to try to compete with all these big games. Forza ain't got nothing on us. Okay, so Billy Bob, what do you think about this concept here? We only want the good players to play our game. Only the good drivers. We don't need those really bad drivers. They ruin NASCAR. They ruin everything. All the crashes and crap. We're not going to have that in our game. We're going to actually have the perfect players in our game. Why don't we? Billy Bob, I got a great idea. Why don't we do this? Oh my gosh! Why don't we do this? Why don't we punish the players that screw up in the game? Why don't we do that? I think that'd be perfect. Dilly. Why don't we do that? Why don't we just punish the players that screw up in the game? Why don't we do that? Why don't we just punish them, make them lose all these points they accrued throughout the game? It's going to be perfect. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great game. No, you dill holes. No. There's still a copy sitting on my floor right now. Why? Because of crap like that. Morons. Not everyone. You shouldn't expect players to be perfect in your game. It's about getting better in the game, about progression. Morons. So that's why you're on the list. That's why you're right up there with Battlefront 2. How does that feel, morons? Me and that company. It's the worst game of 2017 with Battlefront 2. How does that feel, jerkholes? So I didn't buy your game. I didn't get you. You didn't get my money. Because jerk game. You can't hold a candle to Forza. I've played Forza on a demo on the Xbox One, and it kicks your game's butt. That's all I got to say on that. So speaking of rough goes for video game companies, we're winding down now on the show. And speaking of roughness, it has been kind of a rough start for my 2018. It's been a little rough. I'm not going to lie. And every new year, kind of brings a feeling of freshness in a way. It brings, a clean slate, a new start, making resolutions, etc. And here's the thing with me, though. I never made resolutions. I never have, because I do have that kind of fear of breaking resolutions. I kind of have that fear. And my goal for each year, it usually remains the same. Not going to lie. Be closer to God, always. Spend more time with my family and my friends with unique experiences, always. Dedicated to my job, absolutely. Dedicated to this YouTube channel, you betcha. Continue to be passionate about my favorite sports teams, mascots that I follow, absolutely. And continue to just live every day to the fullest and to the best of my ability. That's what I'm all about every day, every year. But I know that sometimes in life, you're not always on the hill. There's going to be a few valleys in life, and you have to have the faith to get out of these valleys. You really have to. Well, these valleys have kind of defined the start of my 2018 in some ways. Second day of January, we were hit with an extreme cold snap here in Indiana. We were in temperatures of, below, sub-zero temperatures. -15, I think, was the very worst, or -17, something like that. And that takes a toll on vehicles, especially older vehicles. I have an 07 PT Cruiser, and sitting there for, a while, eventually battery ended up dying and couldn't get it to start. Couldn't even get it jumped. So it had to be taken in for repair. And as of today, I still don't have it back yet. It's been nearly 2 weeks. But thankfully, my mom's boyfriend, he's been letting me borrow his truck in the meanwhile. And it's different. I'm not going to lie. Driving a truck is very different. I've had to really adjust to doing that because it's a lot higher up than a lower car, my Cruiser. But it's, at least I have something in the meanwhile. I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful for that in the meantime. I had to get a new watch. My older watch was kind of bigger. The strap broke off, but I got this one. Actually, this was pretty cheap. This was like $8 at Walmart. I like there's kind of like a rainbow shine to it, so I like that too. And it does light up. There you go. So you can see the light, so it lights up a little bit. So I had that to deal with. Bit of financial trouble, a little bit, not overtly crazy, but a little bit. Because I'm a homeowner and my tenant next door has been a little bit behind on rent this month. So that's been a little bit trying. And even in a few months might be moving out. So that I had to have on my mind and think about that a little bit. I had to battle with last week. Nate and Sarah discovered there were bed bugs on my couch, so I've had to battle with that and try to kill them off and spray, and eventually gonna get some powder and try to get rid of all them and get rid of bed bug bites. They are slowly going away. They're not all gone yet, but they were covering my hands. They're all over my arms. They're on my legs. They're slowly fading away now because I'm not sleeping on my couch anymore because as a result of that. But once I get that powder put down, hopefully they'll all be gone. So I'm back to sleeping in my bed upstairs now, because normally I would sleep downstairs here on my couch because it's cooler down here during the winter with the heat on. It's warm, it gets warm and stuffy in my room upstairs. So I sleep down here. Well, I didn't even think about, it was just these bites are just popping up everywhere all of a sudden, but I didn't think about that. And then they found bed bugs. So had to try to combat that. So it just seemed like one thing is piling on top of another, one thing after the other. But even through all of these struggles, I've had the right mentality in my mind. Yesterday, I had a vision. I had a vision from God. When I was in the shower getting ready for work, yesterday. And he told me, yeah, I've seen you go through all these struggles, and I see that, and the world's, knocking you down right now and testing you and putting you through all this. Not exactly an ideal start to the year. I get it. But he said, are you going to have the right mentality through all this? Will you have the valley mentality where it's all about I and me? You're going to keep telling yourself, I can't get out of this. I screwed up. I'm going to do that on my own to get out of these situations. Why did this happen to me? Are you going to have that mentality where complaining is just not going to help the situation at all and maybe even make it worse, not going to make the effort? Or are you going to have the hill mentality where it's about you and we, saying to me, being God, you can get me out of this, God. You've gotten me out of worse situations beforehand. We can conquer these valleys together. Faith in you is going to get you through. You, God, get the honor and the glory by getting me through. God basically told me that I have a choice every single day. And it's all about perspective. I can complain about these struggles that I've had and try too hard to conquer them myself. Or I can be blessed and thankful in spite of all of that. I can be thankful for what God is doing. I can be thankful that I even have a way to get to work or places in the meantime while my car is being worked on. I am thankful for that. I can be thankful that I even have money to buy a new watch when my old one broke. I can be thankful that I even still have money to support myself in other places, even when my renter's behind. I can be thankful that bed bugs, there's stuff out there in the world that can eliminate bed bugs, make them disappear, and these bites can disappear. I can be thankful for stuff like that. But I'm also thankful that things, will get better. And that these situations really are only just temporary valleys on the road of life. I will gladly take the hill mentality when responding to these struggles. I'm not going to let them, I cannot let them, and I will not let them define my 2018. We're only 2 weeks into the year. And yes, these things have happened, but I will not let them define me. I'm not the kind of person that gets down in the face of adversity. Yes, I can get emotional over things sometimes. Yes, I can get mad sometimes. I can be angry, bitter, frustrated. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. That can happen sometimes. But do I let them define me? No. Do I, when it looks like I'm down, do I quit? No. I know how to handle it. Honestly, how is being depressed going to make a situation any better? The truth is, it's not. You have to attack these situations. And for me, with God on my side, with my friends by my side, with my church brothers and sisters by my side, my family, all those are important to me. I'm going to fight them right along with them. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I've been doing. And let me tell you, some things are starting to look up. According to my mom, I'm going to get my car back sometime this week, hopefully. My money situation is looking up. It's looking a little bit better. Slowly but surely, got the new watch. I'm tackling the bed bug thing. Things are looking up. Temporary bumps in the road, temporary valleys in the road of life. So, but for those of you who are religious out there, for those of you fellow Christians who watch the show, keep me in your prayers. I put myself on the prayer list at church and for just to get through these little things, and I know I will. So, but just keep me in mind, and because I have the right mentality, and God's gonna get me through it, and I know He will, because He's done it. He's done it many times before, and I know that I can conquer it with Him. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right. So last thing, speaking of those who are important to me, again, as we start this new year, Let me do something here real quick. Ooh. Ah, I wish on this watch though, not that I'm complaining, but I wish on this watch the light would actually stay on while you do different tasks. That's the thing that my old watch had, that the light stayed on. There we go. I think I'm good now. All right. So I wanted to end this video by just giving shout outs. I wanted to give a shout out to all of you on YouTube who are inspiring me to be better. You might not know that you are, but believe me when I say you are inspiring me to be better, better on this show, better on my channel overall, better as a person, better, just being a better YouTuber, being better overall. Now I know I did the crazy thing on one of the videos last time of this series where I tried to chug that gallon of apple cider to be committed to the fandom, and that was okay. It was like a moment. That was something interesting to try. Believe me, I'm never doing that again, by the way. I've already said that. But I'm learning from all these other reviewers, these fellow reviewers, fellow bronies, and what have you, that it's not about that. It's about having fun. It's about embracing the lessons that come out of each episode of the show, of MLP. It's being yourself and not backing down in the face of what others might say about you. It's just giving your best on whatever you do in life. You know what? And lately, I have found so many others in this fandom, exploring, just sometimes on my days off when I just have downtime, I'm exploring these other pony videos. I've subscribed to you guys' channels because I'm so impressed with the work that you all do. I'm just so impressed by all of you. I can truly say that I'm inspired by all of you to be better. So I thank you for that. And who knows, maybe I will get to meet some of you if you're a community guest at Winnie City, maybe this year or someday in the future. I would love that. I would love to get the chance to meet some of you in person. And I have met a few of you actually there in person, and maybe we can get our picture together this year. That'd be great too. But I would love that because, but even if I don't, I'm still going to be a fan of your guys' work going forward. Because here's the thing, we're all doing something we love. We're sharing it with the world. So I just wanted to end this episode by just I printed out my list of the fellow reviewers, the fellow brony YouTubers, all that I've subscribed to that I've either follow on Twitter or actually all these I follow on Twitter, but I have subscribed to some of you that have YouTube channels as well. And if I mention you and you have a YouTube channel, I'm not subscribed to you, let me know so I can find your YouTube channel so I can subscribe to it. I want to just thank each and every one of you for just being you and being awesome at what you do, because from what I've found these guys lately, found each of you this past few weeks, and you inspire me to be not only be better as a YouTuber, be better in this fandom, just be better as a person. So I want to just thank all of you. Ari, the fiery secretary for Commander Firebrand, Josh Scorcher, you're funny in all his videos. And with your new job, man, I tweeted at you. You got this. You've got this under control. Don't be nervous about it. You've got it. Thank you so much for what you do. You are awesome. Golden Fox. I've just discovered you fairly recently in a lot of Firebrand's videos and Silver Quill and all that. I haven't seen your work yet, but don't worry, I will at some point. Keep being you. You rock. Thank you so much for all that you do. Sweetie Bloom, I first discovered you on one of a few of you I found on Firebrand's videos, so keep that in mind. Sweetie Bloom, I think I saw you on the review of the Hookfields and the McColts. You are hilarious. You keep doing a great job. Keep up the great work and all that you do. Voice of Reason, I love your work too. Again, I first saw you in one of Firebrand's videos as part of a review. You are hilarious. You're real. You're true. When you say something, you admit it. You don't sugarcoat it. I love that. Keep up the great work. Thank you for what you do. Lightning Bliss. You are hilarious as well. You're a ray of sunshine. I mean, you bring smiles, I think, to many of our faces in your work and videos that you've been in. Keep on being awesome. Thank you for all that you do. Toon Critic Y2K. I just stumbled upon your videos and your channel about a week or so ago, and I believe you were at Winnie City last year. I did not know you then. I want to get to meet you. I want to meet you at some point. Your work is very awesome. You do a great job with your videos. Again, you're very real. You're very honest. You tell it like it is when it becomes something, whatever topic you're talking about. You're also very hilarious as well. Keep up the great work. Thank you for all that you do. I'm in. FOB Equestria, Commander Firebrand, Josh Scorcher. You're awesome. Okay. Salute to you. You are awesome. You are quickly one of my favorites to watch in the fandom. I look for your videos time. Your episode reviews are hilarious. You're just like with all the collabs you do with all the others out there. Great stuff. It's awesome. I hope to meet you. I think also you were at Winnie City last year too. I would love to meet you in person. I hope I get to do that someday. Thank you so much. Keep up the amazing work. Silver Quill, the snarky one, you are just downright hilarious. I don't know what else to say about you that can't already be said. You are just absolutely hilarious. You are hysterical. I love your perspective on episodes. I love your perspective on so many different things related to the fandom. I love it. I know you've been at conventions too in the past. I'd love to meet you at Winnie City if you come. I would love it. You are just, you're so awesome. Keep up the great work. This next group is actually from another set of videos that I found, like Lost Narrator, and all your fellow recorders, Goody Serenade, Pinky Rose, Scribbler, Astro, Gina, Thornquill. All y'all are hilarious. I can watch those blooper videos for hours on end. You guys are absolutely hysterical. I know you do a lot of the fanfic readings. I haven't really listened to them personally, but I definitely tune in for the blooper videos and Magpie Pony as well. I don't think you have a Twitter or a YouTube, but if you do, let me know about it. But you all are absolutely hysterical. I always get, whenever I need a laugh, I always tune into those videos and watch. Thank you all for the work that you do. You guys absolutely are hysterical. Love every minute of it. I already mentioned these three, but these were my first reviewers that I followed. I now subscribe to your channels as well, and on Twitter. Blank Check, Rarity Dash, Apple Geek. You guys already know I've shout out your channels in the past because you three were the first really reviewers that I really got into watching. When reviewing the episodes, getting your guys' perspective. You guys still do an awesome job with the episodes, and I can't wait to see what Season 8 has around the corner when we talk about these episodes as well. So keep up the great work, you guys, as well. Viva Reverie, and then this next group, Viva Reverie, Little Shy, those that do like the Bronies React series. You two, the commentary and the perspective that you guys provide is nothing short of hysterical. It is awesome. You two do such a great job, great perspective, and hilarious during those Bronies React videos. I love watching those, getting that perspective out of those episodes. So again, keep up the great work, you guys, as well. Tridashy, I love your videos. Again, they're fun, they're quirky, you do so many different things. I know a lot of people have linked to your videos in the past with different projects you've done, and I watched reactions to those videos, and so those are great. So keep up the great work there as well. Full Papers and Dusty Cat, I know you guys were at Winnie City last year. I didn't really get a chance to meet you guys personally. I would love for you to come back to Winnie City and meet you guys in person. You guys are absolutely great as well. I love reading your exploits on Twitter. I love seeing the projects that you guys are doing. I love just whatever commentary you provide to I know Dusty Cat did Bernie's React from time to time. I love that. Just you guys are great. You guys are hilarious as well. Keep up the awesome work. And then the other podcasters that I met, Toodles, of course, who is AC Racebest's wife now. Paleo Stano, who was at Winnie City last year, I believe. Joey-O, who I met at Winnie City for the Pony Meets World guy. You are absolutely amazing. I'm sorry to hear that you stopped your fundraising campaign for your car and your computer troubles. Hey, I can relate. Some struggles myself. I can relate on that a little bit, not to the level that you are, but I can understand. I'm sorry you lost a ton of subscribers over that. That sucks. That's a bummer. I wish nothing but the best for you going forward. I I did not leave your subscription. I know a lot of people left you. I'm not. I think you are still amazing, and I wish nothing. I pray for you. I wish nothing but the best for you going forward. Saber Spark and AC Race Best, of course. I met you two at Winnie City last year. You guys are awesome. You two are absolutely not only hysterical, but you're just fun. You just provide fun insight on anything in the fandom. It's hilarious. It just continues success to both of you. I know lately with some of your videos, I know Paleo's had the issue, Saber Sparks had the issue of videos getting demonetized. That sucks. Just keep at it, keep doing what you're doing because you love it. I know that's tough, but I'm gonna keep watching. You guys keep putting out videos, so keep on doing what you're doing. You guys rock. Gabe Brown, Black Griffin, you are awesome. Anytime I see you on Bronies React, I know I'm gonna laugh because you just provide not only awesome commentary, but you're just hilarious. You're straight up hilarious. You're funny. You are just. I can understand why Nora Mermaid loves you. I can understand it. You are just absolutely amazing. So don't tell her I said that. But you are just absolutely amazing. Keep up the great work. And again, I mentioned this cat. All right, so that's it. I have 28 fellow Brony Pegasus YouTubers that I follow on Twitter. And of those 28, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 of you, I subscribe to your channel. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all that you do for the fandom. Thank you for anything that you post. Thank you, thank you. You are inspirations to me. You inspire me to be better, to keep on doing what I love, to keep being a great representative of the fandom, and just keep pushing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys' work. Keep up the great work. I'll spread the word on your channels always. Anytime I will do it. So thank you guys so much. And thank all of my subscribers. I'm going to be honest, I don't have very many subscribers. I only have 33 subscribers. But I tell you what, each and every one of you, I appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that you are liking what I put out, liking the content I put out. You're viewing the videos. You're subscribing. I cannot thank you guys enough. I might not be, hashtag horse famous. I might not be a big name on YouTube, but you know what? I love what I do. I love providing fantasy football advice. I love providing NCAA tournament projections because I love college basketball. And I love being a part of this fandom and just sharing what's on my mind because I enjoy what I do. I do it because I have that passion. So I thank every single one of you who watch. I thank every single one of you who tune in. I thank every single one of you who subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Give it a like. Spread the word if you like what you see. Thank you guys so much. It means so much to me. And I want to make 2018 one of the best darn years possible, the best that it can be. Like I said, I don't want these struggles that I'm going through to define this year. I want to explore new things. I want to have new adventures. I want to make PonyCon this year at Winnie City another great experience. I hope to do actual videos from con itself. I think that'd be a cool thing. If I can get like a live, YouTube or Twitter on my phone or what have you, or even on my tablet, if I can make that happen, I would love to do streams from con itself. I would love to do that Super Bowl stream that I was talking about. If you guys want me to live stream for my Super Bowl party on February 4th, let me know about it. Let me, give me a shout out. Say, hey, yeah, I'd love to see that because I would love to do that personally. So, and I really now might think after seeing what the Sports Fury guys do, I really might consider doing that. So keep an eye on that. In terms of what is next, for ATSD, episode 14, again, probably will not be until next month because, again, the next Tracking the Madness is probably going to be in the second to last week of January, probably around the 25th to the 26th. So there won't be another video in that series for a while. So the next ATSD probably will not be until either maybe the last week of January or the first week of February after the Super Bowl. So we're not going to have a stream, for the ATSD around that time. It's probably going to be the week after the Super Bowl, but I definitely want to maybe experiment on having a live stream during my Super Bowl party. I think that'd be an awesome idea because Nate and Sarah would be here hopefully that night to commentate the game with me, to talk about it as we're watching. So yeah, just again, I cannot thank you guys enough. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching, viewing, subscribing. You guys rock, all of you. Thank you so much for just tuning in and watching and enjoying things with me. I really, really appreciate that. So until next time, Spiky Dash is signing off. God bless you. Have an awesome week, and we will see you next on maybe in either Thursday the 25th or Friday the 26th for the second bracket projection of Tracking the Madness. Until next time, Spiky Dash signing off. Good night.